We joke about people who think Africa is a country, but maybe they're onto something. Doesn't Africa's charm lie in its mystery? But today we just give tourists what they expect. Now that's boring, and we can't bore people into being conservationists. So let's go back a bit. Let's help tourists connect with the wild by taking them on a journey, our journey, from the time we're up in the trees. So instead of luxury star beds, what about slightly more rudimentary chimp beds? The next part of evolution would mean coming down from the trees, hunters and gatherers who experimented with new foods. So imagine guests foraging for their dinner. A restaurant called Foliage in Franschhoek is doing this. It builds appreciation for the plants that give us sustenance. A restaurant called Noma in Denmark doesn't hide what we're eating. It builds appreciation for the animals that give us sustenance. There's no reason guests shouldn't witness a Samburu slaughtering a goat. Already travelers are out there with the hunter-gatherers, the Hudson. Now, as we evolved, we ventured into the icy water in search of food. I've experienced this with Craig Foster, who dives every day in the icy Atlantic without wetsuits. It is primal. It's exhilarating. It's given me a new appreciation of the wild. And then, of course, it all went wrong, and we became farmers and pastoralists. We lost our connection with the wild. We started dominating it. So perhaps we should still walk with the herds, just to remember and remind ourselves that we've lost that connection. Perhaps we should walk more, and perhaps we should walk without guns. Perhaps we should relearn what it is to coexist. And Marlon, you can sheath your rifle, those ladies will still love you. We should be more imaginative. Now, I'm inspired by this travel company called Based on a True Story. They immerse their guests in orchestrated reenactments of rituals and historical events. A kid won't need his iPad on that journey. I'm inspired by a series of books I read as a kid. I don't know if you might have read them, but you can choose from multiple paths to take on your journey. What about taking guests and giving them a choice of different paths? Or perhaps we don't tell them a damn thing, and they send the check and they land in some obscure part of Africa. And we show them the wildest adventure they couldn't have imagined. Now that's exciting. The apes that climbed down from the trees were incredible. Is there clientele for this? Yes. People want to be the first, they want to be the pioneers. Thousands of people have volunteered for a one-way ticket to Mars. For crying out loud, they'll be pioneers into an experiment. The apes that came down for the trees were pioneers. The people that moved out of Africa were pioneers. It was the pioneers that came back again, drawn by the mystery of Africa. But they dressed really funny. And they weren't very nice, probably because they'd lost their connection with wild Africa. Now people are still coming back. They're still coming back to try and find that connection, but we're not bloody giving it to them. We ferry them around in glorified buses in a zoo. We roll out the red carpet and give them every luxury of home. We call it experiential, but experiential has become a commodity. Experiential is dead. To engage travelers in conservation, we need to be experimental. Like pioneers, let's invite people back and help them realize their connection with wild Africa. That way, we can turn them into ambassadors for conservation. Thank you.
Thanks, Anton.